Hey guys, welcome back to Insight Tennis Tour Stroke Series. My name is Rick Oldroyd and I'm the president and founder of Insight Tennis, and I'm also the head pro. Today I want to talk to you about the one-handed backhand, and I want to talk specifically about what I believe are some misconceptions and some misunderstandings of what's actually happening when the best players in the world produce their signature strokes. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll recall that I'm a big stickler on biomechanics and proper technique as a foundation with which to build on, so that you can become as good of a player as you have potential to become, as you're willing to dedicate yourself and work for. We never want your technique or lack of biomechanics to hold you back. And there's a big misconception, and you may have even heard it taught this way, you maybe were taught that way yourself, that in order to impart spin on your one-handed backhand, you want to really flick up the back of the ball like this, okay? Flick up the back of the ball. So you see I'm rotating and I'm kind of flicking up the back of the ball. Now you can probably hit the ball over the net like that, but the ball is not going to have anything on it, and at the pro level it just simply does not happen like that. There's wrist and arm rotation, don't get me wrong, we'll get to that here in a moment. But largely what happens is when you see the best players in the world hit this shot, and specifically right now I think the greatest backhand maybe ever is Stan Wawrinka. Roger Federer certainly has to be a part of that list, and Gasquet and Tommy Haas and players like this that have some of the best one-handed backhands in the world. But you will see that all of them, when they finish, they take their racket back here like this, and they allow the racket to drop down. Notice I'm keeping my left hand on the racket way down here, and then I finally release it as I release up to impact. But what we see is as they extend out through the ball and they finish that shot, their racket does kind of a flip at the end often, and visually, because it happens so fast, you would think that that's actually happening at the ball in this way, but it's actually not. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions, in my opinion, out there on the one-handed backhand. Now, can you hit the ball over the net without flicking your wrist like that? Of course you can. But if you want to have a penetrating, deep, powerful shot, obviously we have to use the laws of physics. I have a big belief in that regard. It's that you've probably heard me say this before, that the laws of physics exist void of you and I. We can learn about them, we can utilize them, but we don't get to change them. So in my opinion, it makes all the sense in the world to learn about them and utilize those laws to your advantage. And so with regards to the one-handed backhand, as I get my good shoulder turn, take my racket back with my body, we've all seen this before, and we'll get into the details of the shot itself in other subsequent videos. But what I want to emphasize here is what actually happens and what doesn't happen. So I'm taking the racket back like this. As I'm stepping in, the racket is starting to lower down into position, and as I release to impact, I want my racket to travel from a low position to a higher position, but right through the level of the ball. Right through the level of the ball. I'm not flicking my wrist or rotating my wrist up the back of the ball. The spin is imparted by simply going from a low position to a higher position. And just by doing that, you'll impart enough spin to have good margin for error over the net, but you're also going to have a deep, heavy, penetrating shot. How many times have you seen Roger Federer at Wimbledon, where he's literally almost got his knee down on the ground, his back knee, and he literally just drives right through the ball. Literally right through the ball. Now, if you think about that from the laws of physics standpoint, we've talked about this before, the longer that I allow my racket to travel out towards my target, the better chance I have of hitting that target. And the other thing that happens when we do this, the other problem that arises, if you will, is lots and lots of mishits. If I'm actually allowing my racket to flick up the back of the ball like this, the interval where my racket is actually square to the ball is so minute, especially when you add the velocity of a tour player. So you would hit it on the frame, on the bottom, on the top. Once in a while you might hit it in the middle, but more often than not, you're going to be very inconsistent with that shot and there's not going to be much on the ball. So once again, in review, I want to take my racket back. We're going to talk more about the details of this, but essentially they take it back, drop it down here, rotate back to impact, and as they make contact with the ball, they're going to extend their arm out through the ball. Once again, out through the ball, and then when they finish with the racket back here like this, and this is what we see, but we think it happened at impact, when in reality, it did not. It comes to the contact point, extends out through the ball, and then finishes here. Hopefully, that will be helpful for you the next time that you're out there on the court. Just think about trying to hit through several balls from a low position to a high position. And try this even on a slower pace at first, just to get the feel of essentially telling that ball where you want to go. You want to keep your wrist in that position all the way through impact and long after impact. So it's not breaking this way and it's not breaking this way. Now there may be some exceptions to the rule where you see Federer, do that little half volley thing that he does, and there's more wrist involved there, but that's a completely different scenario. So next time you're out there on the court, try this. I think it'll be helpful for you. If you like this video, please click the link below, subscribe to our channel at Insight Tennis, and please visit the website at insighttennis.com. There's many more videos that you can download there. There's a lot more content, and there will be a lot more things forthcoming. Also, there's a video analysis section on the website. We encourage you, if you feel like you've come to a point in your game, whether it's a particular shot or just your overall game, and you want to take some video of yourself, we can analyze that, give you some tips to help you become a better player. Once again, I always appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you out there on the court. Thank you very much.